The government has appointed Lyarkil Lama, a controversial figure, as the vice chairperson of Lumbini Development Trust. The appointment of Lyarkil has raised eyebrows for a number of reasons. Lyarkil's name was linked in criminal cases such as dual nationality, possession of arms, among others, and eventually had to resign 10 days after his appointment as the Minister of State. Surprisingly enough, his name this time was recommended by Tourism Minister Sudan Kirati, who so far has been found to make tall claims about a rule of law and anti-corruption campaign. Good morning, I'm Chitrakar, and these are the headlines of the hour. The Kathmandu District Court issues arrest warrants against 3 former ministers, Gakshadar, Joshi and Shrestha, for their alleged involvement in the land scam. Former Premier Nepal flies abroad. Former Minister of State for Finance Lyarkil Lama appointed Vice Chairperson of Lumbini Development Trust. Tourism Minister Kirati defends appointment. A minibus overturns at a curve in Morocco's central province, plunging into a ravine and killing all 24 passengers. The accident termed Morocco's deadliest in recent history. And a FIFA Women's World Cup to see 2 more pre-quarterfinal clashes today. England take on Nigeria while co-host Australia up against Denmark. The Kathmandu District Court has issued arrest warrants against 3 former ministers for their alleged involvement in the Lalita Niwas land scam. The arrest warrants have been issued against Nepali Congress leader and former Deputy Prime Minister and Home Minister Bijay Kumar Gakshadar. Likewise, the court has given permission to arrest former minister duo for land management, Dambar Bahadur Shrestha and Chandradev Joshi. The district court yesterday had given permission to arrest the 3 former ministers and conduct investigations. Likewise, the Supreme Court had ordered the government to book the mastermind of the Lalita Niwas land scam yesterday. Gakshadar was the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Physical Planning during the government led by Madhav Kumar Nepal in the Nepalese year 2066-67. Meanwhile, Shrestha was the Minister for Land Management. Joshi was the Minister for Land Management during the government led by Baburam Bhattarai in 2069 BS. The scam had materialized during that period. Former Minister Gakshadar had made a proposal to the Council of Ministers to provide government land to land mafias. Likewise, former Minister Shrestha had presented a written opinion in favor of Gakshadar. The cabinet meeting led by then Premier Nepal had made the decision in line with the proposal and implemented it. Meanwhile, former Prime Minister Madhav Kumar Nepal, who has been dragged into the Lalita Niwas land scam, has gone for a foreign visit. Nepal has reached Switzerland to attend a program organized by Non-Resident Nepalese Association. Nepal's Secretariat has meanwhile said that Leader Nepal is aware about the latest development. The Secretariat has also said that the former Prime Minister is committed to the rule of law and that any culprits should not be spared on the guise of power. The Supreme Court had only yesterday given the verdict of initiating action and investigation against cabinet members if their involvement was suspected in the case. The verdict had paved way to probe into former Prime Minister duo Madhav Kumar Nepal and Baburam Bhattarai. The government has appointed Lyarkil Lama, the former Minister of State for Finance and a controversial figure, as the Vice Chairperson of Lumbini Development Trust. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal appointed Lama as the Vice Chairperson of Lumbini Development Trust as per the recommendation made by Minister for Culture, Tourism and Civil Aviation Sudan Kirati. Previously close to CPN-UML, Lyarkil Lama is currently a central member of CPN Mao Center, while he received the appointment letter yesterday itself. The latest government decision of Lyarkil's appointment has been flayed by all quarters, saying that Lyarkil, who was charged for possessing illegal arms, now has been handed the responsibility of Lumbini, seen as an emblem of world peace. When Lyarkil was investigated for accumulating wealth disproportionate to his income, 14 rounds of bullets were found in his bank locker. Also, a former member of the Constituent Assembly, Lyarkil, was also charged, arrested under dual citizenship, misuse of passport, foreign employment, among others, and was later acquitted. During the Jhalnath Khanal-led government in the year 2010, he was appointed Minister for State for Finance, but eventually had to resign within 10 days amid widespread criticism. He had become a Constituent Assembly member in 2007 under proportionate representation through CPN-UML, while he was nominated Constituent Assembly member for the second time under Maoist Centre quota in 2013. The Nepal police have now been officially entrusted with the responsibility of investigating further into the 100 kg gold scam. The Department of Revenue investigation yesterday handed all the necessary documents of evidences collected from the alleged culprits to the Nepal police. The Department of Revenue investigation had confiscated the 100 kg gold already cleared from the Tribhuvan International Airport customs on the night of 19th of July last month. The department proceeded with the investigations as it arrested 18 individuals in a period of exactly 18 days, suspecting these individuals' involvement in the gold smuggling nexus. The department has now handed the responsibility of further investigation to the Nepal police, citing the involvement of internationally operated criminal groups. The 18 arrested individuals comprise of 1 Chinese, 1 Indian of Chinese origin, 1 Belgian also of Chinese origin, and 14 Nepali nationals, including the Tribhuvan International Airport custom officials. The arrest of Dawa Chiring, the Belgian of Chinese origin, was expected to give way to more revelations regarding the owner and the mastermind. However, the desired breakthrough has not been achieved. It may be recalled that Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal had taken personal initiation to hand over investigation responsibility to the Nepal police. Bishambar Prasad Shrestha has shouldered the responsibilities of the acting Chief Justice at the Supreme Court from yesterday. Shrestha has been given the leadership post of the judicial body after Justice Harikrishna Karki retired due to age limit. Acting Chief Justice Shrestha, while assuming his duties yesterday, directed those who will be working under his leadership to ensure prompt services to service seekers based on Constitution and law. The Constitutional Council has already recommended Shrestha to be appointed the country's 31st Chief Justice. Spokesperson of the Parliament Secretariat, Ikram Giri, said that he had already received the letter concerning Shrestha's parliamentary hearing from the Constitutional Council. Giri added that preparations were underway to hold the meeting of the Parliamentary Hearing Committee within a few days to call for complaints against Shrestha. The committee will allocate 10 days for the complaints to be registered as per the hearing process. According to constitutional provision, the President will appoint the Chief Justice after the approval by the Parliamentary Hearing Committee. In our Public Voice segment, today we have asked people in several provinces what should be done to facilitate citizens' access to justice delivery. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
न्यायालयले समान हिसाबले काम गर्नुपर्छ त्यसको लागि कसैको पनि दबावमा प्रभावमा धनी गरिब पक्ष विपक्ष नभनिकन
बिचौलियाहरूलाई अदालतमा प्रवेश निषेध गर्नुपर्छ
सुनवाई अलि मतलब के विस्तारमा नगएर तारिखमा तारिख गर्न र छिटो छरितो गरिदिनुपर्छ
कसैको दबाव प्रभाव बिना नै न्यायालयले आफ्नो किसिमको फैसला गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ
भ्रष्टाचारलाई निर्मूल गर्नुपर्यो
सहज पहुँच अभिवृद्धिका लागि सबै पक्ष गम्भीर हुनुपर्छ
बिचौलिया प्रथाको चाहिँ निर्मूल भयो भने न्यायमा आम नागरिकको सहज पहुँच हुन्छ
न्याय कहाँ पाइन्छ कसरी पाइन्छ सरकारले हामीलाई पनि सिकाउनु पर्यो
पछाडी परेका वर्गहरूको चाहिँ न्यायमा समान पहुँच हुँदैन पिछडिएका वर्गहरू लगायत हरेक महिला दलितहरू त्यसको लागि चाहिँ खास गरी उनीहरूलाई चाहिँ आफ्नो हक अधिकारको बारेमा सशक्तिकरण गराउनु पर्यो
नागरिक आफै पनि सचेत हुनुपर्छ
विगत ठाउँमा गएर जनचेतनामूलक कार्यक्रमहरू गराएर
प्रत्येक वार्डमा चाहिँ मेलमिलाप केन्द्रहरूको स्थापना गर्न सक्नु पर्यो
Nepal is to request India for permission to import additional 1 million metric tons of rice to address the possible food crisis. Although Nepal produces 5.5 million tons of rice annually, around 1 million tons has to be imported. After the government expected the rice production in the country to decrease amid a poor paddy plantation in the Tarai region this year, it decided to import rice from India to meet the demand. The Ministry of Industry, Commerce and Supplies is preparing to request India to lift its ban on the export of rice and increase the quota of Nepal's import. At last week's meeting of the Central Monitoring and Evaluation Committee led by Chief Secretary Vaikunta Aryal, discussions were held to address the possible food shortage in the country. Minister for Agriculture and Livestock Development Beduram Bhushal had also requested the Indian ambassador to Nepal last Thursday not to implement India's decision to halt the export of rice in Nepal's case. After India imposed a ban on the export of rice 2 weeks ago, traders have exorbitantly raised the price of rice in the Nepali market. Meanwhile, traders have also been urging the government to facilitate in the import of rice, wheat, maize, among other food grains. Time now for our segment, Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question: what could be the reason for lesser number of female ward chairpersons at local levels? The options are A, not mandatory, B, indifference of parties, and C, lack of public pressure. Voting is on. Type any WS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Time now for international update. A minibus overturned at a curve on its way to a local market in Morocco's central province of Azilal yesterday, plunging into a ravine and killing all 24 passengers on board. The bus was traveling a mountainous route, transporting passengers to a market in the town of Demnate. Moroccan media said the victims included at least 2 women and a child. Omar Majane, who works for a local NGO, said the minibus did not have a license. He added that this was a common problem affecting residents of the mountain regions, especially in Azilal province. Majane said those killed all hailed from the village of Ait Tamlil, south of Demnate. An investigation was launched into the accident, believed to be among the deadliest in Morocco's recent history. An operation to bury the victims has begun. Road accidents in Morocco and its North African neighbors are a common occurrence. An average of 3,500 deaths as a result of road accidents occur annually, according to the National Road Safety Agency, an average of roughly 10 deaths per day. Last year, 23 people were killed and 36 more were injured in a bus crash east of Casablanca. Rescue works concluded and cleanup work started at the site of a deadly train derailment in Sindh yesterday. At least 30 people were killed and more than 80 were injured as a passenger train derailed in the southern Pakistani province yesterday, roughly 275 kilometers from the country's largest city, Karachi. Mohammad Ishaq, Deputy Commissioner of the Shangar district, confirmed the death toll and said the rescue works were completed after 4 hours. Accidents on Pakistan's decaying rail system are common and successive governments have for years been trying to secure funds to upgrade the rail network as part of China's Belt and Road Initiative for infrastructure projects. The Maldives Supreme Court confirmed on Sunday that jailed former President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Gayoom is barred for the country's September presidential election. The ruling is another setback for the Progressive Party of Maldives, which declared Yamin its candidate before his December conviction for corruption and money laundering over kickbacks from a private company while he was president. The party last week challenged the Election Commission's block on his candidacy because he is serving an 11-year jail sentence, arguing the commission had misinterpreted the constitutional prerequisites for presidential candidates. Yamin, the half-brother of former dictator Maumoon Abdul Gayoom, was seeking a comeback in the South Asian archipelago after losing power in 2018. He campaigned against Indian influence in Maldives, raising concerns in New Delhi. Niger closed its airspace yesterday until further notice, citing the threat of military intervention from the West African regional bloc after coup leaders rejected a deadline to reinstate the country's ousted president. Reading a statement on national television, a representative of the junta said it had information that a foreign power was preparing to attack Niger in coordination with the countries of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. He said there had been a pre-deployment of forces into Central African countries in preparation for an intervention, but did not give details. The coup, the 7th in West and Central Africa in 3 years, has rocked the Sahel region, one of the poorest in the world. Given its uranium and oil riches and its pivotal role in a war with Islamist militants, Niger holds importance for the US, Europe, China, and Russia. Defense chiefs of the Economic Community of West African States have agreed a possible military action plan, including when and where to strike if the detained president, Mohamed Bazoum, is not released and reinstated by the deadline. A small group of anti-war activists held a protest in Times Square, New York yesterday to mark the 78th anniversary of the US atomic bombing on Hiroshima. The day to commemorate the victims of the world's first nuclear attack comes as Russia has raised the specter of using nuclear weapons in its war with Ukraine. The activists held posters demanding NATO stop its support of Ukraine and marched to the Hudson River, where they protested in front of the US aircraft carrier Intrepid used in World War II, which currently serves as a museum. The bomb dropped on Hiroshima on August 6, nicknamed Little Boy, killed thousands instantly and about 140,000 by the end of the year. Nagasaki was bombed 3 days later on 9th of August 1945, and Japan announced it had surrendered on 15th of August. Before wrapping up, here's a look at the top stories once again. The Kathmandu District Court issues arrest warrants against 3 former ministers, Gakshadhar, Joshi and Shrestha, for their alleged involvement in the land scam. Former Premier Nepal flies abroad. Former Minister of State for Finance, Liarkil Lama, appointed Vice Chairperson of Lumbini Development Trust. Tourism Minister Kirati defends appointment. A minibus overturns at a curve in Morocco's central province, plunging into a ravine and killing all 24 passengers. The accident termed Morocco's deadliest in recent history. And FIFA Women's World Cup to see 2 more pre-quarterfinal clashes today. England take on Nigeria while co-host Australia up against Denmark. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Good day.